An alien fungus has been spraying black semen across town. People exposed to it have started changing in horrific ways. Strange and seemingly isolated incidents had happened in the days leading up to the massacre. I lived in a small farming community called Matheson, where everyone knew everyone. My neighbor, Steuben, owned a sprawling dairy farm. He must have been at least 70, but he still looked 60, a vigorous and healthy hard worker, with wide blue eyes and thick salt and pepper hair. His land rose up in the rolling hills and gently babbling creeks of the surrounding woodlands. 3 days before, one of his cows had given birth. Steuben said the calf had been something from a nightmarish fever dream. It screamed and wailed constantly, gurgling in a sick, blood-choked voice. It had no skin, but instead looked like it was flipped inside out, the gleaming veins and slick, wet muscle thrumming with adrenaline and primal agony. It looked like a bloody, crying mass of pulsing organs. Steuben had grabbed his hunting rifle and put the poor creature out of its misery, shooting it in the back of its deformed, slanted head. It had no eyelids, and he said the filmy cataract eyes had stared up accusingly at him as he killed it. Though I didn't witness it myself, a few of my neighbors and friends had talked about seeing a meteor shower over town the night before the deformed calf's birth. Bright blue streaks like lightning flashed across the night sky. I wouldn't know the significance of this until much later, until it was far too late to do any good. One of my neighbors, who was 9 months pregnant at the time, ended up giving birth to a baby boy a couple days after the incident with the calf. The father told me that the infant had only lived for a few hours in intensive care, and it had been such a horrific sight that the mother and father could barely stand to look at its twisted, alien features. The doctors had told her it was an extreme case of something called harlequin ichthyosis. I looked up the pictures of what he described, seeing pictures of mutated, skinless infants with dark blood vessels like tumors running down their chests and bulging, clown-like eyes that gleamed in infected red. It was around the same time that people began to notice the fish dying off in large numbers, their rotting bodies floating to the tops of ponds and streams all over the area. Fishermen said many of the lakes had become dead zones overnight, as if chemical weapons or high doses of radiation had contaminated them. If you liked this video, like and follow for part 2.